This could be a wacky series. Numadon versus B. Ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Midweek Muster. Need to update, actually. We just came from the round of 16. B 2-0 Starflark. We're now into quarterfinals territory. Winner of this goes up against Cat. Could it be, I think, a third week in a row where it ends up B versus Cat semifinals? I mean, realistically, it's seeming likely. Numadon, definitely a talented player, but B just playing with good pacing, urgency, and potential here. Numu, meanwhile, likes to play for that chiller later phase of the game. I have a feeling he might not get there this time. B. Oh. That's a new one. B is the first person we've seen do this. We have a dock drop on the pond. An interesting choice, one that was seen a lot on, say, marshlands that had those same kind of ponds. First time we've actually seen it here so far. What surprises me, actually, is that it's English doing this. I would have expected this type of strategy out of maybe Abbasids, possibly Japanese. Less likely Japanese, though. Abba and Ibids would be the main ones. English, you only get the 10% discount, right? So you're only actually realistically saving 7.5 wood per fishing boat. So it's only 22.5 wood cheaper for them. It's kind of crazy, but the crazier part is that he gets away with it because Numadon is rushing feudal. Because you wouldn't want to spearman rush an English player, right? It's the dumbest thing you can do. Anyone who's ever tried it knows exactly why. It's okay. You can do that, and I'm not calling you a dum-dum. I'm saying you learnt why it was silly. If you rush with spearmen, short bows kill you. So what B has done is he's exploited the fact that a Mongol player cannot rush in this matchup to get his own greed. Okay, now this is interesting. Numadon is at least going to get his own fishing, but it's delayed, right? I like the way he done this, where he prioritized the level up. He scouted first, because if he walked out and there was 2 English villages there, he would have died. And this map is wilderness, by the way. This was Karyu's creation. You've got some deep water fish far, far away, but it is a long... I'm running out of mouse mat. Wrong distance to your base. And we do have the Council Hall build. So this is what I was expecting. I think English are really good for Council Hall here. The Abbey of Kings is kind of It's not actually a value play. By going for Council Hall, you have a longbow rush timing. Because if you look at the spawn, it's not very safe. A lot of exposed angles here. Small tree lines. Things that you just can't really hide in. So Numu, as a result of this, he's going to want to be rushing into likely archers himself. I think Yam can give you that mobility. Keshiks would be the safer call, but it does set you up to get raxed by spearmen. Because if this is a proper longbow rush timing, English always like to add in the racks almost immediately. B would be seen doing that, actually. The Falcon, I think, has got, what, only 5 seconds left. He's going to expire before he knows if it's just longbow. If it was longbow spear, you just go archers as Numadon, but if it's just longbows, you need to be in the stables. This is the trade-off of what Numadon, by the way. You're seeing it, right? Like, there's no stone gen, so I think you have to go Keshik here, right? If you had the stone just generating, you'd go archers and blob. But it's double archery range versus 1 if you do that. Yeah, I didn't notice that at first. It's kind of surprising because most of the time, even if Mongols want to go water, they tend to go for the Uvu straight away. So he's going to be going for the stables. Have to pump out those Keshiks one by one, which means B can now just very organically follow this up with a Rax drop. You can see he's already stockpiling the resources. I don't know, man. I think this fishing choice by Numadon has actually hurt him. It's just weird to say because B done it as well. But it's the order of things in which he done it. Right? Like Numadon got this very good timing on field age, but he didn't really do anything with it straight away. 2 Keshiks just getting queued up. Just shows you how kind of staggered things were, right? Like if you can afford 2, you could have afforded 1 probably about 30 seconds ago. Archer range follow-up is going to be there as well. B does now have the rats coming in. Mongols actually never have been any boat or sea army. I mean, you know. Do you have problems with our lack of historical accuracy? What about archers never missing a shot? That doesn't sound historically accurate. I didn't realize that every single English longbowman was Robin Hood. They tried. Actually, I think you'll find they succeeded in invading Japan. I've played Ghost of Tsushima. Definitely 100% historically accurate. Oh, this is sick micro from B as well. So the Keshik does get 1 kill, but he has to wait for reinforcements, and it means that you could end up losing another villager. Second one has come out. The spearmen are on the way. This is not a fight you want to win. Try and fight now. Numidan, he needs the archery range ASAP. Does get it built. Does end up losing a Keshik, though. So that's a worthwhile exchange for B, right? It's 200 resources to kill 180. And on top of that, he has got a worker kill. So we'll pull the archery ranges back. Numu's going to start producing the counter. Needs to clear the way for the Keshik play. 12 sheep to work with. Meanwhile, it's 18 sheep for B. Now remember, Numu will have the fishing to inflate him as the game goes on. But for the time being, it offers up a very aggressive line for B. B could actually pull a villager and look to build an outpost on the other side of this tree line, which has multiple layers of value, as you're about to find out. Because when the tree line is this thin, you can just stick the spearman in and scout round the side. Oh dear, oh dear. You're under the impression English school children still train with longbow? We do. It's really, really important. So, you know, we're not old school, though. As a civilization, we have modernized. You know, in our country, it's all about stabbing now. So what we do is we train our kids to shoot the bow, but they don't use arrows, they use knives. And we're bloody good at it. This is not looking bloody good for Numidan, though. That was a sick read. Just going for the campfire in that location, the full vision rounds. Outpost is coming up soon. He needs to fight. With 5 archers, I don't know how you are meant to here. This is interesting, actually. B has been the only player truly leveraging outpost rushes non-Mongol so far, right? He'd done it against Hussein in the opening round of 32. And he's doing it here in the quarterfinals to get what looks like a very dominant start to this quarterfinal series. Numidan's trying to change the momentum, though. I like this. He needs to go and cut reinforcements. The problem is the distance on Wilderness is so short, it's difficult to cut reinforcements. And he immediately GG's. Numidan, a guy who I thought was always going to get us the late game, doesn't even get a chance to approach that phase. B is looking on fire today. He's already up 1. Yeah, it's all Avley's fault. Why do the West Side players keep getting the deer in the back like this? This is outrageous. Game 2, Chinese versus Malians. Interesting matchup, actually. A few different ways you can open, and B has chosen not to take an aggressive line here against the Malians. Instead, he's... Wait, no, it's happening. We have got the Imperial Official. I was about to say, that might be a giveaway. So you can usually tell if a Chinese player is going to go for the Rax Rush if he adds the Imperial Official in. Because you need it for the supervision. You need the extra food to get the pump going. So this is smart. Against Malians, usually you do this because all of the resources are built away from the TC, so you will find Val. Curious if you go for an outpost rush as well. I don't think with this type of spawn it's worth it, but it is worth having the Spearman for the following up phase of the game, because we are in a Pro Scouts meta. Everyone loves to get their deer. By opening with the Spearman like this, you're already not only going to be torching buildings, but you'll immediately be in position to then block the closest deer to the Malian base. Oof, guys, come on, have mercy on Numidan. Those predictions. 93% for B. Bloody hell. I thought maybe there'd be a bit more inspirational hope for the poor Numidan lad. I mean, the Swede has had a mixed bag. I think some of his games maybe drag later than they need to. I think that's actually where he needs to optimize a bit. Is it also is predictable that he wants the late game? And players like B are really good at using that against you. So it's going to be shuffling around. I believe B doesn't know exactly where the gold is. He's just kind of punting a guess. Sheep gathering. He's only got 6, so he can't commit much more to this play. He actually does need to get up in age quite swiftly here as the Chinese. Meanwhile, it's already 13 sheep for Numu. We don't have a villager pool, right? I like that. I don't think with China it's worth sacrificing your timing here. I just feel like you lose a lot more when you pull a villager because you know it's going to be one of your food workers, right? The other weird thing is because you have that Imperial Official, you know, if you choose to pull for an outpost, you're splitting your economy more and you can't supervise the wood. That's what makes it a little bit bad for China compared to other outpost rushing civs. We do have supervision still happening on the racks. He does need to get back to work on the food. Nice tax drop off. We'll start to collect what he needs to get to a tech up. Okay, I'm starting to feel like B didn't do enough. That scout just wasted a lot of his time. Tech Up's coming through. He hasn't got anywhere near close to killing the pit mine. He should be ready to follow suit soon. You can see he's got enough taxation here, so we'll better do 2 more drop-offs and then go for the tech. Should be the Imperial Academy, but I don't know, man. I had faith in the Spearman opening, but I think a combination of the spawn and also that interception by the Malian scout ruined things here. Archers already on the way. I mean, the good trade-off here for B is by forcing archers, you're now a step ahead on the route to pro scouts. And also, the route you take is stables, which will count with archery range anyway, right? Meanwhile, for Numidan, the tricky part about this matchup now, and I think why this type of play is better in the pro scouts meta, is Numidan has to follow up with racks, realistically, right? Because his opponent's going to have spears and horsemen. So if you go for like your own stables play, you're technically playing into a counter. So you have to basically choose to be weaker in a fight or miss your pro scouts timing. And missing your pro scouts timing is kind of unacceptable against China. So expect him to go stables, but expect it to be a little bit reluctant. And B really didn't get much off the map though. 5 sheep. 11 on the other side. He's at least scouting north side, but Numu already mostly went up here. There is a few sheep in the absolute north. Maybe 2. This is the punishment you get for this type of player though, right? Like, in an ideal world, that was a fort spawn in gold. Had that been a fort spawn in gold, the scout would have immediately went scouting everywhere else. And what is up, Benny boy? Hello, hello, Demu fans. Hopefully you had a good stream, my friend. Big shock and awe this week around. I hope you're feeling a little bit better. Myriad, of course, proving a little bit too mighty this week. The winner of that, actually, in the follow-up was Cat. We're currently looking at the other side of the quarterfinals bracket. Winner of this will be going up against Cat, who has made it consistent back-to-back semi-finals. Right now, B looking dominant. He just had a 9-minute victory with a longbow rush on Wilderness. Good old classic with the English Mongols. And now that we're on bridges, things got a little bit weirder. I think B, this Spearman play, just didn't really get what he wanted out of it. And there we go. He does avoid having to go in the racks. Does, however, mean that B's follow-up play into stables is going to counter what Numidan's doing right now. And Pro Scout's timing is just always so ridiculous with the Civ, right? Like, he hasn't queued it yet, but think about it this way. Numidan is 45 seconds away. B could realistically mirror and match the timing because of supervision. And yes, this is a tournament. This is our midweek musters, KPMM 11. We're in the 11th of a 30-week esports circuit we've been doing. You can catch it every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday live on both my Twitch and my YouTube. And there's the racks. So he does go back for it. I mean, actually, like, all things considered, Numidan's order on this is decent. I was a little bit worried he was going to have to skip, because usually you just blob a lot of warrior scouts. People like to go up to 8 here. But his choice to just stick at 4 and not be greedy has left him quite strong by getting into Donzos. Donzos are going to counter everything B is doing right now. Even the spears, because remember, Donzos are just better quality spears. Stonewalls in Age 2, not in my tournaments. No, we have Wood Walls coming up. So B is just looking to remove the deer option. Really smart play. If you look at these 2 small walls, it practically guarantees that you get 3 stacks of deer. Yeah, he needs it, right? Like, we talked about the lack of sheep. He actually had to go for a second mill and out onto the berries this early. It looks kind of ugly the way it's had to be played. But you can see he's now prepping for the Pro Scouts transition. I think something that's really cool here is, like, although he can't realistically win the fight over this first deer, he's forcing Numidan to add a lot into contested. The negative of this is going to be if you now don't mirror, your opponent can just blow up this wall on the north side with loads of Donzos. So keep an eye out for that timing. What B's likely going to want to do is try to attack the backside here with the small group, because then Numidan has to run away from where the wall is. And that means that B can run for these deer first. And what is up, Wakar? Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate the sub and welcome to the swarm. All right, ones if you think B's going to win this, twos if you're favoring Numidan right now. If Numenor reads through the play, he's in a really good position here. But he needs to scout what's happening. And there we go. Info comes in. Now knows about it. Hey, sup, MC Johnson. Appreciate the sub, mate. And yeah, the bridges are white. We haven't seen much detonation action on them recently. Would love for that to change. B is mobilizing with the archers here. Massing archers is really good for B right now because Numenon's only counters javelins. These warrior scouts don't do anything. Right? They're chunky, but they don't actually get bonus damage against range until age 3. And what is going on? Is B going to sandwich him? I mean, I'm hungry. I would like a sandwich right now. It kind of feels like it. With the way he's camping here. Maybe looking for an over... Okay, come on. When is that bug going to get fixed? That is the classic, I'm burning a structure, but now watch me throw this torch at someone else. Yeah, here comes the backstab. He was waiting for this. It's difficult, though. Numenon's army isn't exactly weak right now. He's going to be able to drag some deer home. He is going to snatch away a lot more of the deer on this north side, though. Really important. The problem is he didn't bring back any deer already, so right now B's economy is weaker. He just exhausted the berries. He needs this food stat. And yes, you can indeed blow up the bridges. You can use siege. You can use demo ships. Siege damage will detonate these things. And they can be repaired afterwards. Javelin numbers all of a sudden swelling up for Numenor. Hey, this is tricky right now. Yeah, look at the desperation play. He has to go out onto the extra berries. I think for B, maybe he got a bit too tunnel visioned on denying food. And didn't focus enough on actually eating it. Like, this is pretty worrisome right now. Because these gaps in military production could just hit him right in the gut. Especially with the way that Numenor is moving. A bit overkill killing that one archer. But if he postures about this right, he could start to starve out some gold. Not that B really wants it in drastic amounts right now, but it would keep him away from Barbican. It would keep him away from Fast Tech. It would also keep him away from Undermesh. When is Sassy and Anatan going to happen? Likely after this series. We're still waiting on confirmation of when it's going to be happening. Because Sass is asleep? I don't know. He's doing something. Anatan has been waiting this whole time. The war over deer here is kind of awkward, man. I gotta give it to him, actually. At least with the way that both these guys played it. It's kind of made bridges interesting for the Pro Scouts exchange. Usually Pro Scouts is pretty boring to watch because people can't block it. But because of the North Deer exchange and the bridges, both of them have had a linear push point. Right? The first Deers were close enough to base that they're not really contestable. And then these two north sides were up for grabs. But B is going to be able to get all from his side. He got some from his opponents. He's still got that extra pocket comfortably sitting behind the base. So he is going to be the winner when it comes to the Deer Hall. But Numenor right now looking like the winner when it comes to the army. Wolves are going to start going up. So Numenor aware that B is going to have to try and do some damage here. It starts to make me wonder if actually bridges should be being seen more. It's funny because the first week we put it back in, it didn't really get picked at all. It's definitely seen a bit of an uptick in pick rate now. Compared to like Dry Arabia, you know, this is what I mean. I think Dry Arabia has become very uninteractive for deer spawns on average compared to this. There are spawns where like you can actually block Pro Scouts, but you're flipping the coin. It's the same logic as picking Mongols on Dry Arabia to trade. You're not guaranteed to get a good spawn for it at all. Nice initial exchange there. Javelins and the Donzo shot just getting maximum value. B is saving up, but credit to him. Numenor not falling behind here. I think we're looking at Farimba. Wait, no, he's going Fulani. Interesting. I thought maybe he'd look Farimba just for Freeborn, but, you know, China does like to open with Lancers a lot. So instead, we're mirroring with Mass Sofa. Astronomical Clock Tower is coming in. Smart choice. Your opponent has built a lot of Javelins. Malians also like to stick to Archers. This will be the blocker. Got to give it to him, though. Numenor looking a lot more alive than Game 1. After I saw game 1, I legit thought we were looking at speedrunning this series in 30 minutes. So there's hope. So now they've got like a lot more people tuning in. We were having a discussion earlier, actually, about... What do you think, chat? What ones we had loads of discussions. I was thinking, like, we were talking about the unique tournament angles. What kind of tournaments do people want to see? Do people just want to see more of, like, the 1v1 top tier ones? Or would they rather see almost memeful-like tournaments? What was around that Mr. Merlin? Was it Mega Random? No, the Nomad tournament. Seemed like people really enjoyed that one. TV2 20 was fun. I think the problem is, like, it doesn't matter if it's only 2 extra players. The moment you add in more players, it's almost like there's a disconnect with the current viewing audience, if that makes sense, compared to what they'd like to watch. Nomad FFAs. Yeah. FFAs I'm not entirely sold on. FFAs are tricky, especially because we like these kind of midweek schedulings, right? So we don't have to try and compete on prize pool with EGC or whatever. That's really not possible. I was saying one thing I like the idea of is legit just having players have to be in the same like talk channel as each other and finding a way of almost pushing them to smack talk each other. Going for listen-ins would be incredible. And free-for-all tournaments, like, you have to have the right configuration, a big enough prize pool to compel everyone, and also, like, a good rule set, right? So, you know, like, the Clearmans and the Outback Octagons, like, they had some very entertaining games because you didn't just camp. I was thinking it would be cool to do maybe, like, a meat grinder mod tournament. That was the one where every X minutes, the person who's killed the least dies. I think that could be interesting. Okay, so we've got a calming moment here. Looks like they're just kind of macroing up a little bit. With Fulani, we should be seeing Sofa coming through, but weirdly enough, Numenor is just sticking full infantry here. Donzos and Javs. Yeah, not even an archer switch up yet. B's looking to rush the relics. Very much rush the relics. That's 6 monks. Good God. What about Victory Point mod like Company Heroes? Yep, we actually have one like that. We've hosted free-for-all tournaments, free-for-all like community games rather, with that specific rule set. So what you're talking about is after you capture Sacred Site, if you recap it, the countdown continues where it left off. I do like those type of things. What is his wing condition in his eyes? I can't imagine you want to go into Imperial here. Like, in some ways, it can be desirable because China has Nesta Bees, and Nesta Bees peak in Castle. You do need to secure the 8k golds, though, to justify that in play. And right now, you can see he hasn't done that. By some miracle, he has a pit mine up here, but he doesn't actually have any control of that area. And no active gathering. B, he gets found building the Barbican on the ball. Not just that, it's also going to be a denial on one of the relics. So, well played on the timing there, Numenor. We're going to force him to cancel. Really important as well, because B, these ball, the reason they're so critical is it stops him needing a granary transition as quickly, which is kind of necessary at this phase against mass ranches. Also delays the point of song, which means you're not scaling a villager lead. Like right now, B is actually quite economically weak. You're against Fulani, right? Like your opponent just has a 20 villager inflation. It's very hard for Imperial officials to fully match that at this scale. There's also a worry about the quality. Like, he just has so many archers, not much front line. I'm starting to think Numenor has done it, guys. It feels like a game 3 is inevitable, as long as he doesn't just trip. Winner stays on format. So winner stays on formats was one idea we had for like what to do with the weeklies. The challenge of winner stays ons is it's not very inclusive and can get monotonous. So if someone's dominant, they win, they're just going to keep on winning, right? Like, at least with the featured format that we do, you know, yeah, we had a stint where Papa was winning. Now we have a stint where B just keeps winning. But there's opportunities for other people to play. It's not just a linear effect. And that was an interesting demo. He didn't actually get close enough to the Donzos. That actually could have been a game changer. If he got the detonation a bit closer, sure, it doesn't destroy the bridge, but it harms these Donzos instead. Now a dock play coming in from Numu. Needs to be careful with the villagers, though. Does pull them away. And a wasted detonation now from B. Barbican is coming in again, but the delay that this has caused now for B. Numu just seems to be blowing a little bit quicker. We do have sofas now coming through, and that's something that actually, right now, the 3D Clan member doesn't have a counter to. Mid-game blind player swaps. What does that even mean? Oh, you mean like musical chairs? I mean, I've already said, if I ever run a LAN, we're doing a show match that is literally musical chairs, where every X minutes in a free-for-all, all the players swap seats. And they won't be allowed, like, if they want to change key binding, there's no pause. They just have to work through it. Like, use some of your 5 minutes to change key bindings. Oh, the griefing would be incredible. Wolf's getting up from B now. It looks like we actually have some rotations from the sofas. Things are quieting down a bit, right? Like, you can see B is struggling to get his inception point going here. Interception point, rather. Sofas are just going to front line here, but the Nestabes are focused on them. We have got the patented Springolds from B. I'm not sure if this is enough to carry the fight, though. Nestabes are going to get good here on the backside, but the Javelins, they need to spread out a little bit more. Instead, Numenon's just going to A-click his way to victory. Talk about finding the timing here. B, I think if you got the Springald count up, very different affair as this game goes on, but Numenon blobbed and sent it at the perfect moment. He's getting us a game 3 here. B has lost way too much for a man who doesn't have farm set up. He has no reboom. So instead, this series is going to be decided on Boldland. Now, Numenon, he picked Malians here instead of there. He has either French or Byzantines left. B, on the other hand, has Rus or Japanese. It's pretty obvious what B's likely to do here. We'd have to get a little bit creative with the Japanese to make that justified. Almost feels like B was expecting a 2-0 with the way he drafted this, actually. In some ways, Numenor has definitely been weakened by not having Malians for Woodland. Still has options on the table. I like this, though. This is what I wanted to see. Numenor, you know, after the earlier round games, I felt he was going to be a little bit too complacent. I think you could argue B got a bit too creative with his approach. The attempt to block all deer gathering in the north kind of killed him in this game. And now there's no denying. I mean, just look at the mini-map. I'm bringing friends and friends of the friends and friends of the friends and the friends of the friends of the friends of the family. And they're all going to come to party in the Chinese base. Yeah, Springall's not really great against javelins, folks. So, game 3. Locked in. Hop into it in a second. We've got a game 3, and we've got an opportunity here for B to get denied away from the grand finals in the quarters. This is big, folks. Byzantines versus Rus on a map like Boardland. This is Pro Scout Central. Numenor knows that. He shouldn't try to contest it. You can't mirror Pro Scouts here as Byzantines, right? It's going to be worse than the Rus timing. But what you can do on a map as barren as Boardland is send it into the abyss. Byzantines do have that classic aggressive timing off of the back of the mercenaries, something that you can lean into very hard here. I'd say Horsemen plus Javelins. It sounds wild, I know, but hold on. Against Rus could make a lot of sense. If you see them react with Knights, you know it's not Fast Castle. All you need to do is block the gold and then add in Limitane. We're cooking a little here. It's a very unique build because typically if you do Horsemen, it's Lombos, and if you do Limitane, it's Javelins. So I'm pretty much telling Numenor to go against the winds here. I think you have to against a Pro Scouting Civ. And it is going to be B's patented free scout opener. He loves doing this. The key is to try and scout where your opponent is and cut him off, but it looks like Numidan sniffed that out. He actually got a really good rotation here. So right now it's like, what, 16 sheep compared to 12? But he's got the territory ahead of him to even that gap. He should be able to cut the backside. Yeah, B is usually really on point for this free scout opener. He tends to get, I want to say on average in the games we've been seeing, maybe 70% of what's on the map. This game's not the case though. Numidan had the correct read, didn't waste any time or efficiency in his rotation. Does somehow miss, yep, let's go back for that one. And the other interesting part is like B, I think what he done different here, which is surprising, is instead of sending the third scout north, he sent the second scout, right? Actually, I think this is even the first. So I agree with this rotation here, but I thought he was going to rotate around the back. He must not have seen Numidan scout. Because normally if you knew your opponent was rotating south side, you cut him off here, second scout mirrors across to here for the cutoff, and then the third cleans up north. So it looks like he did misread the opening from Nimu. Trade post mercs? I mean, it's a fair point. It is close, but yeah, it's Musafadi. No. Camel Archers, maybe kind of worth it. Camel Archers is actually interesting here. Numidan doesn't strike me as a neutral trade post mercenary, but it could be good. Audio is dropping in and out on YouTube? Really? No one said anything. That might just be you, England. Or is it other people? It should be fine. Yeah, checking the connection. It says it's stable right now. I'll keep an eye on it, though. Haven't seen Kremlin in a minute. You'll be waiting at least another hour. Yeah, Kremlin's not going to come out here. You'd think it would be good because the tree lines to protect it, but if you go Kremlin, you have to touch gold, and if you touch gold, Byzantines can kill you. Right? Your goal here as Rus is to resist the gold. Right? Don't look at the ring and decide to put it on. Toss that crap into Mountain Doom. Good old classic deer shoving. He loves to do this. He's going to be having pro scouts coming as quickly as he can. Whole goal is pro scouts will complete. The deer should be about here. Actually, maybe even here. And then you have to quick drop off right next to your base. The Numu, he is going to be going the Limitane route. So no interest in the Horseman opening. But we have got Grand Winery, so we are going to see him accelerating towards those mercenaries. Done something a little bit peculiar with the placement of the system, right? I think maybe there was better value. Actually, no, he's got barriers in range here. So this sets him up quite nicely to just keep pressing. Can you connect Golden Gate with normal wooden walls? Oh, you, my friend. You are asking the questions that has been many players' complaints for years now. No, the Golden Gate, despite its name, is a terrible gate. It doesn't let you through. I mean, there's a giant gap there, but yeah, you can't walk through it. Excitement cannot be contained with the Sipahi. Well, there weren't in this game. There could have been knights. That ironically could have actually been horse archers to count the enemy horse archers eventually. But yeah, no mercenary play on the trade posts. You see what I'm talking about with this play? Like, guys, if you want to know how to level up your Rus, this is the way. When you have this many scouts, there's no scout opener on the other side that's going to contest it. So you should be able to shove the deer freely as deep as you can while pro scouts is ticking it. Takes a little bit of micro, but incredibly worth it. It just gives you all the food straight away the moment you have pro scouts, and no one can stop you. Any civ really? It's easier with Rus though. Like with any other civ, you're staggering like this because you have one scout. But with Rus, you'll always have at least 3. So Numu, what's the play? It is going to be javelins. He needs to be fast about this though. You can already see the P is almost halfway to what he needs. And remember, he's got ticket stockpiling, so the accelerant will come in immediately out of nowhere, right? He's gathering the wood already to guarantee it. Done something a little bit different here. A little bit surprised by this. Didn't go for the wooden fortress at all. He's focusing on getting the wall up instead. So this is a variant play based on the spawn. These first javelins. It's kind of funny that I'm sitting here thinking, man, the mercenary timing really sucks for Byzantines. Considering before the Pro Scouts meta, this was oppressive. This civ felt broken because of this timing. But the Pro Scouts meta, at least for Rus, It feels like you never get those mercenaries out quick enough. I kind of wish you could just pump them out one by one. B's going up to 10 scouts. Good God. I mean, normally this would be overkill, but when you know your opponent isn't going to be touching deer at all, but you know he's going to be trying to all in you, it's one way to get all the food home. Most of you will die, but some of you will bring me a juicy venison. Do I think they'll change Pro Scouts meta in the future? I mean, you have to, right? It's too strong. It's way too strong, so either you buff different types or you nerf it. I'm a big fan of you nerfing it, because buffing different types, i.e. things like TCs, is a bad idea. I don't want TC meta to become more viable, or like rather the default. I just want Pro Scouts to be a little bit harder. The problem right now is it just doesn't have a counterplay that's quick enough. Right? Like, all B has done in this game is built Scouts. And has he been punished, or has he got fast castle? Meanwhile, did Numenor do anything greedy here? Yeah, he built his cistern. Okay, but for real, guys, like, what did Numenor do that was greedy here? Nothing. The only less greedy thing he could have done is maybe Hippodrome, but then you don't have the Javelin Mercs, right? He went all in, and B is just going to bypass him on the edge entirely. And yes, Men-at-Arms is your player here. Like, you should be prepping Raxes, because obviously you don't want Horse Archers against the Matane and Javs. We have got the Karasiphon plate going. This is a pretty powerful one for Byzantines. The one ram timing for them is better than any other Civ. It does cost a little bit more, but this Karasiphon is a lot more impactful than building one ram. So he should be able to burn through. Could probably actually target the lumber camp, get the hunting camp at the same time. But obviously he wants that wooden fortress. So if he lines up here, he can hit both. And it also keeps him far enough away that he won't necessarily get rushed by the villagers. There you go. It looks like he did clip it. So he's cooking. You can't burn this. If you jump out, the javelins will snipe you. High trade house now on the way. Get your numbers in. And there's the correct play. Raxes being added in by B. I love how there was just a comment. B doesn't like men-at-arms, but he's gonna damn well build them. A little bit ambitious on placement. Numenor, that's actually a really important force. Just kind of waste villagers' time. Meanwhile, we're losing gold here. He doesn't have any tickets to work with right now. And, oh no. No. Karasiphon's going in. That's not a healthy building. Luckily for him, the villager is not getting cooked right now, but he actually cancels it. Oh my god. He's like, I just want one man. Just one man. With arms. That ats you harder than someone on Twitter. Just one. 4 racks from B. He isn't even gathering food right now. He needs to fix that. Block on the wood. I can't believe this. Numenor is up to 2 Karasiphons now. House is being targeted. I mean, there's a growing risk here that B is not going to be able to spawn a single men-at-arms. Or more than a single because of the houses. Yeah, Numenor just needs to read it and target them right now. Like, you could win this game right here, right now, if you take out the population. And these houses are a bit tight. Realistically, he could have actually shoved in there earlier. Instead, he focuses on the production buildings. The only 3 men-at-arms right now. This is actually wild. Numu, who kind of got a little bit of stick from us in the previous round for maybe dragging games out unnecessarily. And a bit of hesitance, has woken up in a fit of rage and aggression in this third game. No chill, no wait, just go. And look at this. He's getting ready to go up in age. Numenor, not really that far away from his own castle play now. Talk about getting banged for buck out the Karasiphons. Will be shoved away now. B has got enough men-at-arms to be scary. Still, it's difficult when you throw them out one by one like this. We even have the Steeled Arrow upgrades. So Numenor hitting as hard as he can. This is ridiculous. So oppressive. Scouts are still trying to drag back whatever food they can find remaining. I mean, that's the good news, right? He should have plenty of food to work with here. In fact, he isn't even using it right now. The problem is he just doesn't have room to produce units. And now the house is... B, he's about to get pop locked. Not just that, the javelins are in on the tree line. I gotta give it to him, man. He's been cooking, and I'm not just saying that because it's a Karo Siphon. So B finally gets rid of the Rams. However, what has been the result of this? Numidan has bought enough time to tech up himself. He's got probably level 3 system coming in soon, right, with the Stone Gen. He's going to have his own racks time. He's forced his opponent to men-at-arms. You can now try to scale into Varangian, add in maybe some crossbows. You've kept him off of horse archers. B, however, does have a teensy tiny window. He has to be fast, though. He doesn't have undermesh. And also, Numidan has the aggressive production speed via the Conscriptia. So Varangian coming out every 25 seconds here. Wait, yeah, okay, I was about to say he was accidentally on Dialecticus. Every 18 seconds to produce them. What B needs to do is try and actually just shove 1 or 2 men-at-arms into the berries. The time ping is going to keep contesting front side. We do have monks coming from both players here, so they're both aware of the real objective. High Trade House was a depressing 83 gold. Somehow that's depressing. He literally got a relic for free. Welcome to the Rus Empire. It does not make sense, so please leave logic at the door. My one worry is, as cool of a play as this was for Numidan, I think he probably should have been aiming for an end game state off of the houses. If you kept bot blocking, B wouldn't be able to get the men-at-arms out, and he would have also been in a situation where he would have missed village production, right? This Rax obsession maybe cost Numu a little bit, because at the end of the day, although you slow B down, long-term, who has more food? Is it the guy who got slightly less sheep and has been playing berries? Or is it the guy who picked up all the deer? How strong are Varangian compared to men-at-arms? It's a little bit tricky. So Varangian, they have 1 more melee armor, 1 more melee damage, but they have 15 less health. So someone can do the rough maths if they want to, right? It's 12 attack into 5 melee armor. You do 7 per strike. By the time you've killed a Varangian in a one-on-one, the extra armor and damage should equate an advantage for the Varangian. Right? Because it would take you over 20 hits. Kill. So yeah, Varangian are slightly favored. But if you run into crossbows or horse archers, you're screwed. Dude, this ball. Chill. Chill. He is not happy. We better snipe him down now. B does have horse archers on the way, and he looks like he's actually shuffling in not with the horse archers, but with one of the men-at-arms. He needs to be rotating wide flank before the walls go up from Numidan. Have B and Numidan faced each other before in KPMM? I'm trying to remember. I don't think so far. I think we've had Cat versus Numidan, but I don't think we've had Numu versus B. Maybe once. I mean, I'm impressed with Numidan, though. We talked about the timing he needed to hit. He found it. Done a little bit different than what we expected. I thought Horseman could have worked as well, but this worked just as well. The problem now is obviously going to be the horse archers. He needs to contain them. With 20 javelins, it should be realistically possible, because right now B doesn't want to fight. He can't fight. Right, he has 8 men-at-arms. You have 19 Varangian. He needs raids. So Numidan's read to go aggressive is once again just on point here. Oh no. As it began, it shall end. He's summoning the Siphon. Uh-oh. I've got a feeling that B... He ain't cooked, mate. He's about to be burnt. He's about as burnt as a well-done steak. Siphon's going to be able to move in, so you want to target the production here. This is tricky, man. It's like, what does B really build to solve these issues? Men-at-arms Horsemen probably would have made the most sense. Because you can't build horse archers against javelins. You can't build crossbows against javelins. You just have to trust your men-at-arms to win against Varangian, and then your horsemen counter the jabs. Springles? Like, I can't believe it. I'm saying it. Springles is the play, I think. Sucks against the jabs, I guess, but at least you have a way of dealing with Varangian and then running through. But B, instead he went horse arch, just looking for a raid timing, which he's just not getting here. He's at least going to split the fight, so some of the ranking going a bit too deep, but the javelins, quick to react. Production is going down. B, after back-to-back wins, after looking like the butcher of the midweek musters, he's not even going to make semi-finals this week. Incredible series from Numu. I'm impressed. He has been a beast in these weeklies. That opening game showed you exactly what he's capable of, but Numu just really turning it around, I think, from a draft POV. I don't think B necessarily expected to encounter Malians in game 2. I really think he was expecting Malians here on Borderlands and got caught off guard by this Byzantine all-in. That means that he's not Numu done in this one. B has to be feeling it, sensing it at this stage. There's nothing really left of him. He has at least got some relics coming home, but you have to address this. And I think B's issue is, especially with the Kyro Siphon here, it's just not getting units out quick enough. What a crazy week. We had Numu go out on the round of 16. We'd have B go out in the quarterfinals. Lash makes his best appearance so far, making it all the way to the semifinals. And Numu now making, I believe, his best performance, making it all the way to the semifinals. Talk about a circuit that gives changing results. Not just a repetition of one person dominating every single week. Progress and evolution, man. That's what the midweek musters are about. I'm glad to say, with results like this, it's clearly working. Wait, someone bet 250,000 on B? You are not going to be able to feed any more pigeons after that. Jesus. B, let's go for the clutch ball lol, shall we? Alright, well, there goes any hope of turning this around. I mean, that was it. B is going to try to cut reinforcements. You can see Numenor doesn't care, man. He's hunkering down. He's getting full olive groves going. He's ready for the party. Uh-oh. Prayers arrive for reasons. Oh, no. Dude, my daughter has just got stuck in her brother's baby seat. Mommy can't. Can you guys hear Freya right now? I can't. Alright, I'll get her in a second. Not a laughing moment. One of the kings of midweek muster has been slain. Oh, we'll get you out in a second, princess. Oh my god. V has gone for a sacred site victory in the face of this danger. I don't think that's it. Oh my giddy on. I can't believe I'm seeing. Yeah, I'll help in a second. Oh. Bless her. So, a 2-1 victory and a showdown up against Cat. An exciting week that this is developing into. Let me hit the 2x because this is the more I ignore her, the more this approaches child abuse. And I'm a loving, doting father. B at this point is just dragging out an inevitable phase. I mean, he does still have comparative economy, but not for long. Oh my god. Well, that's the disaster painting right before your very eyes here. Camels also just makes it so much worse. He's switching to knights against Limentane, which is already danger territory, but the camels just make it 10 times worse. And that, folks, is going to be the last you see of B in midweek muster number 11.